The incident on August 5th, in which a Chinese Coast Guard ship water cannoned a Filipino ship on its way to supply armed forces men manning a contested shoal, has pushed the U.S. over the edge. Over the weekend, U.S., Australian, and Philippine military participated in a combined exercise simulating the retaking of a South China Sea island. The bold gesture comes after China raised its stakes in the South China Sea. The U.S. military is emphasizing that Chinese actions, including the use of water cannons against the Philippines warship, must be challenged and checked. While the forces of the three countries conduct a combined exercise, the commander of the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet visited the Philippines and met with Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos, the head of the Philippine Western Command, which oversees the South China Sea. You have to challenge people, I would say, operating in a gray zone, Vice Admiral Carl Thomas told Reuters. When they start taking more and pushing you, you have to push back. You have to sail and operate. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, headquartered in Japan, is the largest of the forward-deployed fleets. It has up to 70 ships, 150 aircraft, and around 27,000 sailors. It has bases in Japan, South Korea, and Singapore, and covers an area of 124 million square kilometers. Over 2,000 Australian and Philippine defense professionals, as well as U.S. Marines, are taking part in the war games, which include amphibious landing and air assault simulations. The drill also includes 2 Australian Navy ships, HMS Canberra and HMS Anzac, as well as the Philippines Navy. The drills will take place in several training areas around the Northern Luzon Command and the Western Command from August 14 to August 31st. Troops stormed a beach in amphibious assault vehicles, parachute, and on-board U.S. Osprey aircraft during the war games. Close air support was given by 2 modern Australian F-35 fighter fighters, while Australian warships defended the surrounding waterways. The maneuvers are being observed by Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles, who is accompanied by Filipino President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. In a huge rebuke to China, Marles has vowed to begin cooperative marine patrols in the hotly contested South China Sea. It is an important aspect of how we prepare for any eventuality, given the number of events that attest to the region's volatility, Filipino President Marcos stated. The 9-dash line was deemed unlawful and a violation of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, by an international tribunal in The Hague in 2016. China, unwilling to acknowledge the verdict, continued to militarize the islands, and its militia harassed Philippine ships. While Manila has the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea on its side, its military vulnerability in the face of a capable foe has not gone ignored. That is why, since assuming office in June 2022, the Marcos administration has been strengthening its defense and strategic connections with the United States, Australia, Japan, and India, the Quad countries. Marcos and U.S. President Joe Biden agreed to establish criteria on the nation's 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty during his May visit to the U.S. The United States reiterated its commitment to assisting the Philippines in the case of an attack anywhere in the South China Sea. The recommendations also recognized China's gray zone tactics as a danger. In exchange, the Philippines agreed to establish 4 more military outposts to which the U.S. will have access. A U.S. Navy plane buzzed overhead as 2 Philippine ships broke through a Chinese Coast Guard blockade to replenish food and other supplies to its Marines holding a contentious shoal. While the Philippines was courting the United States, it was simultaneously building ties with Australia, which has commercial and geopolitical interests in the South China Sea. In May, Australia and the Philippines raised their relationship to the level of strategic partnership. Following the incident with the water cannons, Australia, Japan, and the Philippines launched combined patrols in the South China Sea. The U.S. Navy was unable to join as expected. The Philippines has also signed an extraordinary memorandum of understanding with the Indian Coast Guard, which will cover, among other things, intelligence exchange throughout the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines Armed Forces are likewise being modernized. It has secured an order for the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. It is also looking for its first submarine and has expressed interest in the advanced light helicopter Mk3 and Indian warships produced in India. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.